welcome. I'm very pleased to bring to you today Valiere Langfield from the UK. Will be phoning in about Roger Quilter, his life and music. Valiere, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Very nice to talk to you.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you with us today. Valiere, you decided to write a book on Roger Quilter, and when did that happen?
In May 1996. It's very precise. I was at a party and talking to somebody, and quite by chance he was talking about some music and saying, by the way, you realize there's no biography of Roger Quilter, don't you? And I just thought it sounded an interesting thing to do. I've always known his music. Since I was a child, I've always known his music. And when I studied singing as a postgraduate student, I learnt many of the songs then. So it wasn't unknown to me when I heard that there was nothing about him. But it's been so interesting. The people I've met have been just fascinating.
Wonderful. Now, let me ask, you first heard Roger Quilter's music at a Robert Mayer concert, is that correct?
That's right. They were concerts for children, and they were held at the Royal Festival Hall, a big, huge concert venue on the South Bank of London, and it was conducted by Sir Malcolm Sargent. And it was such a beautiful piece of music, joining up lots of nursery rhymes, and it was so fresh and charming, and it's retained its charm. No matter how many times I hear it, it's still kept that freshness. Beautiful piece.
Wonderful. Valiere, tell us a little more about who Roger Quilter is.
Well, he was quintessentially English. He was very tall, not that that particularly makes him English, but he came of an upper-class family with a lot of money, in a family where you didn't do music. You might sing the odd song, play a little piano piece, because that was the nice thing to do. But you certainly didn't go in for music professionally. It just wasn't done. So from that point of view, his family was fairly Philistine, but also fairly normal. So it was quite hard for him, and he was always ill. And his family were always terribly healthy and very hale and hearty and hunting, shooting and fishing. So he was a bit of a fish out of water, really. But he did write these beautiful songs that have a really English flavour about them, and they are still sung now. They're very much part of the repertoire for any concert singer. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about his family.
Well, he grew up in the south of England, but then they moved to the east of England in Suffolk, which is right on the very edge of the North Sea. So you look out onto the North Sea and then way across to Europe.
And he had 4 brothers, correct?
He had 4 brothers and 2 sisters, so it was quite a large family. And he was absolutely devoted to his mother. But she was quite a powerful personality. But that was okay. They could handle that. But he really didn't like the rest of his family. The children of some of his brothers and sisters he liked, but not that many. He had nothing in common with them. But they were all tall. That was the sweet thing. He was tall, and all his brothers were tall. So that pleased his mother. She always wanted sons over 6 feet tall, and she got.
We would like to go to play Go Lovely Rose.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, lovely rose, tell her that wastes her time and me, that now she knows when I resemble her to thee, how sweet and fair she seems to be. Tell her that young and chance to have her grace satisfied, that her hearts are strong in deserts where no men abide. Thou must have uncommanded stars. So is the world Japan.
That's one of his finest songs, and it sends shivers down my back.
And please tell us a little bit about who is performing in that.
Well, that was Quilter himself playing the piano. He was a very fine pianist, and he'd trained as a pianist at the Frankfurt Conservatory. He also studied composition in Frankfurt. The singer was Mark Raphael. Now, Quilter's first singer was a tenor called Jervis Elwys, who was killed at the railway station in Boston, Massachusetts, in 1921. And he had brought Quilter songs to an audience and made them famous and made Quilter famous. After he was killed, then Quilter met Mark Raphael, who was a baritone, high baritone. And Mark was a protege, really, of Quilter. So he brought Mark on, but Mark also sang his songs. And in 1934, they recorded that song.
Wonderful. It is a beautiful piece. As well as, I'd like to know some of other Quilter's other famous friends, possibly a little bit about Percy Grainger, because I know he was influential in Quilter's life. So would you tell us a little bit about...
Yes, they met when they were both at the Frankfurt Conservatory. And it's really so strange. They were such complete opposites. Grainger had such energy, and he was Australian and would, when he was on tour in Australia, would walk between his concerts. It's really quite strange. And Quilter was always ill and always terribly the gentleman and shy, and wouldn't put himself forward. And Grainger was quite the opposite. He was a very outgoing concert pianist and composer. And they were almost like chalk and, well, they were like chalk and cheese. And I think that's why they really got on. They responded to the opposite in each other. Grainger wrote thousands of letters throughout his life. Eventually, he became a naturalized American citizen. But they exchanged a huge correspondence for the rest of their lives. It's absolutely wonderful and very touching. And they would talk about their music to each other whenever they met, and they met as often as they could. Grainger was always on at Quilter to come out and stay with him in the States. Grainger lived in White Plains in New York City, but Quilter never quite managed it. But they could bounce ideas off each other, and they supported each other's work. It was a very strong friendship.